This morning we are arriving in Basse-Terre, the capital of St. Kitts and Nevis. This is a two-island state, officially named the Federation of St. Christopher and Nevis. The short excursion that we book today is the famous St. Kitts Scenic Railway, a 29 kilometers long narrow gauge railway line along the entire coastline of the island. Maybe it is just my perception, but the docking today in St. Kitts is slower than usual. We are about to start our train journey. While Sade's song, Smooth Operator, will be played a number of times on the journey, Sade is not native to St. Kitts. Please take a good look at the locomotive, the power car and the coaches. There is a story about it with connections in Romania, Poland, Germany, US and Canada. Let's start from the beginning. Once upon a time, in the mid-17th century, the British introduced the sugarcane to the islands and St. Kitts became the top producer in the Caribbean. But the cheap sugar beets signed the death certificate of this crop. In 1912, a central sugar factory and a narrow gauge railway around the island have been the last attempt of survival through the economy of scale. But on July 31, 2005, the last sugar train came home, ending 350 years of sugar production. Here a story ends and another one begins. In the summer of 2002, a company called Interloc acquired 3 diesel locomotives of the Romanian class L30H, not from Romania, but from Poland, where this series was imported in large numbers in the 70s and the 80s. These locomotives, developed by the Faur company in Bucharest, were designed originally for the narrow-gauge sugarcane railways in Egypt. Later on, a large number was exported in Poland as well. The Polish rebranded this as LYD2. Each character corresponds to a particular technical specification. When a serious maintenance was required, the Polish replaced the Romanian Maybach licensed engine with a Henschel licensed engine. as spare parts are still manufactured in Poland to this day. But times have changed, and the Poland Zuckerfabrik Dobre had just ceased all its operations on narrow gauge and was trying to sell its inventory. Before being packed for St. Kitts, the locomotives have been converted from European to US brake systems, and we'll see later why. Maybach and Henschel are the first German connections. And this is the way the locomotives have been acquired in St. Kitts. The narrow gauge locomotive L38 is a robust Romanian 300 horsepower engine, but its power is not nearly enough to produce sufficient electricity for the passenger cars. And here comes the first car, which hosts a separate power generator. The power car is made in Germany, but I found little or no reference to it. The 5 double-deck passenger cars have been specially designed by a US company called Colorado Railcar and built by the Jeff Hamilton Manufacturing Company, also in US but in the Washington state. The lower level is air-conditioned and it is furnished with rattan chairs and tables. The bar and restrooms are also located on the lower area. While comfortable and reminiscent of the beginning of the century, the lower level is not very popular. Most of the people use the upper deck, covered by a canvas canopy and otherwise wide open. The US design and built cars are the reasons the locomotive brake system was converted to US standards. But what is the Canadian connection? Well, the St. Kitts Scenic Railway is operated by a group of activists from the Canadian Narrow Gauge White Pass and Yukon Railway, WP and YR. They completely took over the railway of the St. Kitts Sugar Pipe Railway Company, which runs around the island, and gradually replaced weak and sometimes badly worn rails along the route. And so, on January 28, 2003, the St. Kitts Scenic Railway made its maiden trip with tourists. The tour, including the shuttle time, takes around 2 hours, and it is a staple in the cruise ship offshore excursions. Another peculiar detail of this railway: they have a choir. The repertoire includes Caribbean songs and popular hymns.
Hi, we are in St. Kitts and we are embarking the ship right now, and this is the Green Monkey, which is popular in all the Caribbean islands.
When you hear this sad song again, it's a sign that we must leave the island. Tonight we'll be sailing to Philipsburg in St. Martin.